Adam, it was wonderful when I started to work on the symphony to realize that the first movement was pretty much the fanfare that you wrote for us 2 years ago when we had 10 fanfares for the 10th anniversary. And so how did that fit into the process of writing the piece, and what were the other sources of the larger picture?
The larger picture? Well, the genesis of the entire symphony happened exactly 3 nights after Obama was elected in 2008. I heard Copeland's Symphony No. 3 live for the very first time, and that work is regarded as the quintessential American symphony. And knowing the history of the piece, knowing that he completed the work in 1946, 1 year after World War II ended, I just imagined that he was fully aware of the turmoil that was happening around the world and wanted to try to bring more beauty into the world. And for me, I felt it was almost my civic duty to contribute somehow to a better America, and therefore I set out to write my first symphony. And really it was my way of paying respect to Copeland by having an extractable fanfare.
Oh, right. They both have that
Yep.
feature. And you improvise, you generate a lot of material improvising.
Yes, I grew up playing and improvising on the piano from the age of 3. And movements 1 and 3, the fanfare and then Rondo, which happens to be probably my favorite movement, I used a MIDI sequencing software program, and I can hit record, and I can record 1 layer at a time and then go back over and record the next layer. So I essentially played every single layer that the orchestra's playing by hand. And I really love working that way because I can really just create from the subconscious. It's a much more organic, natural way for me to communicate as an artist.
Do you think there are, I don't know if the word is narrative, are there narrative elements in the symphony? There's certainly great emotional range in the symphony. Can you speak to that aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, most of my music always has some type of narrative tone, just in the same way that all of my titles come first. I need to know what it is that I'm writing about. When I began the piece in 2008, it really embodied the beginning of my adult life, and I was aware of 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, of course, the collapse of our economy, and so I wanted to create a narrative arc that would sort of take us on a journey from the beginning. The fanfare announces the arrival of the symphony, in a way, and movement 2, White on Blue, I always conceived it as a reflection. To really reflect about our history and about where we are and where we once were. And then the third movement, Rondo, well, in the form of symphony, I wanted to have 1 traditional movement. So it's the only movement that has a specific form. Everything else is more or less through composed. And then the 4th movement, Prayer, was really to acknowledge everything that has happened in the 21st century. And the movement ends with an Amen chord. And then the final movement, Stars, Stripes, and Celebration, is really to project into the future and just to say that we are a wonderful country, and I wanted to end big.